I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us and IndyWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it.
The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
Just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you have to do, make it last. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't run, run, this shoe change the back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 958 Tuesdays. We've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I am going to hit record on this. We're going to start over from the top. We'll fix it in post. It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 958 Tuesdays. We've been talking professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the social medias in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA, and I am Moist. And with me is the Riz.
What?
I'm moist, you see? See,
Did I
it
miss-
says
did
on
I
video
miss
right
something?
here. Right here. I'm
Oh,
moist.
oh, it's right
this
there.
is a
Oh.
headband. We actually bought it for the Dutters. Julia Lynn, we ran into our friend Julia up in Big League Pro Wrestling up in Erie.
Mhm.
And she's been selling these moist headbands and shirts and such. Actually, Moist AF is the t-shirt. And Missy said, this is what we need to get for Katie. We ended up
Yes.
getting a twice worn Moist headband. So there you go. Special collector item there.
I was
So
gonna
I
say,
figured,
that's gonna be worth some money sometimes.
but
Sorg.
yeah, there you go. And we and then we well I was showing Dutters what we got for Dutters in the digital realm here between shows. And we were just like, hey, it kind of belongs right there, doesn't it? You know. And and I thought, whatever. Sure, it's appropriate for our guest this week. We'll connect that somehow. Toddy Tandera, the voice of 880 Wrestling, is here.
Hi, everybody. I am Moist as well.
There you go.
I am Toddy Tondera. It is true. And it is my first time back, and I think 6 years, I believe, on the Wrestling Mayhem show.
Pre-COVID, at least, right?
Oh, goodness. Maybe 7 at that point then. I don't know. How old was I when I was on here? Probably young. But
I'm gonna count the rings and
yeah, but yeah, I'm happy to be back on the Wrestling Mayhem show for the first time in, let's say, 6 or 7 or 8 years.
too many years.
Yes,
we
too many.
We probably were in the 700s. So we should look up at some point where you when you were on the show last.
I used to live in your neighborhood. I
Yes.
used to live right down there.
In the hood.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Absolutely. You have done cameos.
Yes.
But we no-sold you in the window when I think some guy named John was here, right?
Well, that idiot, some guy named John, was on the Wrestling Mayhem show. So, of course, I walked up to the window with a mask on.
It's
and
okay.
then I was just like, oh, yes, I'm doing my job too good. They don't know it's me. So then I just walked away in shame because I was like, I didn't want to reveal that it was me. But also you couldn't see that it was me because I was wearing a mask. And John was reading some kind of storybook or poetry or whatever he does. The gentrifier, some guy named John.
Jeez. We got a bunch of people in the chat room here. We are live every Tuesday night here. We got El Juggalo whooping in the YouTube actually. We got Tina Keys from Seattle out there, and Toddy was a blonde last time I recall.
Interesting.
Were you?
Well, here's something funny. So my hair is just getting darker half because I'm just getting older. But
I'm going the other way with my hair. Okay.
I see there's still a little bit of blonde. Yeah, I had I think a rat tail the last time I was
That's why I
here.
don't want to cut my hair because they're going to get rid of. I'm like holding on to this color
Yeah.
that's out here because it's not still coming. That's for sure. So
I'm starting to get some grays. It's just I guess
wrestling will do that to you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The last time I was on the show, I was a podcaster, and now that I'm in wrestling, and now I'm old. Because 1 year in wrestling.
Listen,
is like
post-COVID, we're all several years older.
Yeah,
I
like
did a lot of-
1 year in wrestling is like 3.5 years in real life.
That's right. That's right.
So I've actually, and it's like almost like cat or dog years.
Well,
so I'm
we're-
old now.
We're gonna definitely catch up with what's going on in wrestling and 880 wrestling.
when-
And yes,
Back here though
Hmm?
is like my hair is like just flowing right now.
yeah. Oh, you're just hiding it with
Yeah,
that
just
filter. I got
hiding.
you.
Yeah.
I
Like,
got
this
you.
is just a bald cap. It's not real.
A bald cap.
This whole time, Riz has been wearing a bald cap.
Turns
Yep.
out
As a part of the Riz character, he's been wearing a bald cap for centuries now.
I have to get in the character.
dedication. That's dedication right there.
Mm.
Anywho, where do I go from there?
I don't know.
From that, let's talk. So there's so much. This is the weekend, Memorial Weekend of too much wrestling. We're going to have a lot of these actually, turns out. So it's going to get really, really interesting. And of course, when there's lots of wrestling on TV, there's also lots of wrestling in our local world as well. So myself, we did I encourage everybody to check out, shout outs to our friends. NWA Exodus Pro had the Boys Back in Town show. And yes, they played every version of Boys Are Back in Town for about an hour before the show. Jared, you were a fucking madman for that setup. And then we did Big League Pro's Patriot Games on Saturday night, which actually just dropped this afternoon on VOD over on IndyWrestling.us. Go check that out. Tremendous, I think, a 25-minute match between Bill Collier and Spencer Slade. It was incredible. This was, and I talked to I think both of them afterwards. I was like, because I'm the only camera op out there, and I was like, oh cool, we're in a rest hold. I get to rest for a minute. No, they were not. This was not a Randy Orton hang out for a while rest hold when they were doing this. And those are big dudes.
Yeah, Big Collier is gigantic. Bill
Yes.
Collier is gigantic, and I think he was wasn't he in he was William Trudeau in Maple Leaf
Yep, I think that was
Wrestling?
Sunday.
He was Canadian.
I asked him about. I heard you're Canadian tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, Chris LaRusso was talking about that last week on the show, so I had to ask him about it this weekend. So, no, tremendous group up there. Katie Arquette had a great match for the NWA Exodus and TV Championship. Actually, I think it was a joint title match against Tiffany Nieves. Nieves.
Yeah.
Wow, I should know that by now, as I've seen her how many shows. So, but no, that was all tremendous. Definitely worthwhile. Exodus Pro, that's on the NWA YouTube for free. So, both fantastic shows. Beretta and Dante were tremendous. A lot of good stuff on that show, so definitely go check that out. Pastor CeeLo in his first ever in-ring competition in Exodus.
I'm a Pastor CeeLo guy.
Pop
for sure.
of the night, teaming with, you see, this is a Holy Grail team with him, Pretty Boy Smooth, and EC3. It is tremendous.
The height difference between Pretty Boy Smooth and Pastor CeeLo is an ocean.
Yeah. And we stuck an EC3 in the middle, so
Sure.
Yeah, and he's
sure.
doing his glasses gimmick or something right now
Sure,
too. So
sure,
he
sure.
threw glasses off the camera. I don't know where they went. They didn't go my way. I don't think they just disappeared into the ether. It was kind of magic when they did this thing. So anyway,
EC3, big muscles.
yes,
Big muscles.
yes, tender heart. But he's this. Don't clip this. So, anyways, where are we at with this? With the WWE, let's talk about WWE first off. A lot of stuff happened with them. Of course, they had about a 3 or 4 day stint. I can't remember. SmackDown was also in Tampa. I didn't end up watching SmackDown. I just skipped to Saturday Night's Main Event when I had the chance. But the biggest, I think, oh man, what is the biggest news? Okay, biggest news number one: Ron Cena.
Ron Cena.
Cena.
Is a thing. Comes out to the thing. I saw the shirt the next day. This Ron Cena shirt. I'm going to pull this up real quick. I almost bought this on the spot until I remembered that WWE shirts are $40 freaking. So
That's true.
this
That's
is-
since the pandemic too. You want to talk about the pandemic?
That's a since everything got insanely hot. I didn't buy a single WrestleMania shirt this year. I just you know what? I'm here. I'm good. I'll wait till they're on clearance. I know I was here. But yeah, this one where it's just the straight up, the last time is now red John Cena, and they just put Ron over it. By the way, R-Truth, I don't think has ever been Ron in canon on TV.
K
To my
Quick.
knowledge,
Yeah.
K Quick R Truth,
Quick.
right?
In TNA, he was.
Sure.
Yeah.
And his real name's Ron Killing, so
Yeah.
you know.
I wonder if this is because of the presser, where John Cena just called him Ron, like right before he did that.
Yeah.
That didn't make it
But
canon. does it?
I'm in for that.
Nice.
I'm. Come on, this is yes.
I'm here.
This
for
needed
all
to happen.
This did need to happen. So, although I hate when they do these because it's one of those special orders. Because it's one of those things where they have an idea, throw it on there, and they're definitely doing print orders, and it says, this will be shipped no later than June 30th. They
When
did the
you
same
forgot
thing.
about it.
They did the same thing with the Joe Hendry WrestleMania shirts. Which actually, if I get a WrestleMania shirt, it would be the Joe Henry WrestleMania shirt. To be honest, but they did
Great
have
moment.
it. They did
Great
have it
moment.
in the shop though, like when on location at the convention. I had to go all the way. I don't think I could have even gotten at the arena in the shop they had there, not the stadium, I guess. You had to go to the convention center across town in order to get it. Wasn't up for that. So.
I like the John Cena Last Real Champion T-shirt.
Yes.
That actually might be a cop by me. Like I don't know that I think the last WWE T-shirt that I purchased was Aleister Black NXT T-shirt. I think that's the last WWE T-shirt I purchased. But I'll tell you what, Last Real Champion.
This one? Yeah, and it's a nice shirt. It's a nice.
Yeah,
it's a WrestleMania one. So we're talking wardrobes.
There
but
it is.
yes.
The lower left. Lower left.
Yeah.
of that. Yeah,
This
Last Real
one.
Champion.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that is like chill to me.
Yeah. No, I think they're doing a great job with this, and he's been great. He's been such an insane badass bad guy heel and everything like that. So like it's been tremendous. Setting up. I love that it's come around to, man, wouldn't it be great if I leave with this and a social media guy is the other champion?
I love John Cena. I'm a John Cena fan, and I also appreciated when John Cena came back and made his first promo on Monday. I believe it was a Monday Night Raw where he counted down the dates. He started to count down the dates that he's available for, and he was just like 38, this thing, 37, this thing, and then at the end he was like. And these aren't even, I'm not even wrestling on all of these, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
These are just the last you'll see of me.
And it's like, I don't have to wrestle on any
No.
of these. And then, of course, he completely is going to wrestle on a bunch of those.
John
so,
Cena's
yes.
cool.
Yeah, this is great. It's fun. And I think he's getting out some of his actual internal aggression.
Yeah.
It's about things.
He's got a good, mean Fred Flintstone face.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he absolutely does. There's always a "We Are Awful People" sign behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that shows. Absolutely great. So they got a tag team match coming up here. Uso and Cody Rhodes, and just in time for his new
At
podcast
Money in the Bank, right?
at Money in the Bank.
Where there's going to be a person with a Money in the Bank contract
Oh my God, you're right.
and two champions.
in one
in one
match. How convenient, right?
Why would you sign up for that?
Nobody's thinking about that, I guess.
Well, I guess there's one champ on each side. It's a lot better than like
Mm-hmm.
if the champs were on the same team, I suppose, because
Somebody's going to lose. Somebody's going to
Yes.
be more beat up than the other,
yes,
presumably.
yes.
Yeah. So who's going to get screwed?
And before that, no, it's the Monday after that. The Monday after that, though, is Jey Uso versus Gunther 7 or 8 or 9 or how many matches they've had. So I feel like Jey Uso is locked in to Gunther that night. So maybe not him.
Or does he lose the belt and Gunther gets pissed because he lost his opportunity and goes on another tirade?
Could be.
You know,
Could
like that's
be.
another that's another angle you could go there. I mean, and that's the thing. There's so many ways, and they're so good at left fielding people right now. Like it doesn't have to be like their booking is just so let's go left here. You know, but they will still make it make sense.
Well, that happens when you have a great roster.
I forgot how much
Yeah.
they did that promo last night explaining Bronson Reed joining Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And they got into the fact that I forgot that Bronson was the one that did like 5 splashes, tsunamis on Seth Rollins, putting him out for a month.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Holy layers of an onion.
You want to talk about cool crowd signs? Yesterday on Monday Night Raw, there was a cool Bronson Reed crowd sign where it had like cartoon Bronson Reed kind of like up for the tsunami splash and then like a cartoon wave behind him. And I was like, that's kind of cool. That's not too bad.
Are we confirmed? Because they're talking about shirts in the chat room. I really hope Ron Cena stuff continues and he wrestles like John Cena forever, like the way Shark Boy wrestled like John Cena. You know what? It could be R-Truth. Oh, I don't know what I did there. It could be R-Truth's retirement year as well.
It could possibly be.
Could be.
It's a little older. He's a little bit older.
50. I'm gonna guess 53 or 4.
If you get a Steelers Pirates Cena shirt, if they have those at the Raw in Pittsburgh next month, I do not know. Is Cena confirmed for Pittsburgh? Do we know? Dude, I'm not aware.
Even if he's not, they're gonna have stuff there.
Yeah, maybe we'll have
like Austin wasn't confirmed when he was in Pitt. Like when they did the like Yinzer 316 shirts, I thought.
No, yeah, they've been running those for a while. So
unless that was saved up from the lockdown period where it was supposed to be 316 at Pittsburgh.
Why is it saying June 5th? Like, well, this is saying he will not be at the WWE Raw in Pittsburgh on June 9th, 2025. That's like the 29th, isn't it?
Well, he won't be for the record.
For sure. I was like, there's no...
Sure.
Does
30th.
Does Riz confirm for the Wrestling Mayhem show since he's such a big star now? Or is he just... Do you confirm Riz, or do you?
We do actually confirm him every day. I'm like, are you going to be here tonight? You know,
yeah.
Are you? Is this one of your contractually obligated appearances?
I'm normally here. That is a gotcha question.
Yeah, you're a big star around here, so I don't know if you have like the star treatment or whatever. It took me 6 or 7 years to come back, so you're here every week, so I'm sure.
I'm here every freaking week. Sorg wasn't here. We talked for some reason.
I've been here for 958 weeks, so
yeah,
that's true. That
Riz is going to be in the Mayhem Show Hall of Fame.
Yeah, right. I would say first ballot, right? First ballot.
You're going to be in Hall of Fame. Toddy's going to be in the 880 Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they're going to raise my short shorts and polo up to the rafter. They're just going to raise them up to our ceiling that I could just hang. Actually, I could hang my shorts.
You just got one of those short poles like at a Hot Topic employee.
Yeah, but not on Friday for May 30th for no ceilings.
No ceilings.
No rafters, nothing.
No rafters to put the polos in the short shorts. Nope. No. We'll get into that here in a little bit. The other big news from WWE over the weekend, amongst the many things and tremendous matches, by the way. Jordan Grace and Stephanie Fakor. Holy crap, that was great. Good stuff even on the TNA Under Siege show. A lot of fun watching that show. I watched through most of it, and I think I have like a match and a half on that still watch. But the other big news was Trick Williams, your new TNA Wrestling Champion.
Sheesh.
We did it.
Weird.
We did it, Mom. That is crazy. And it happened at Battleground and at NXT. So like there you go. It's going down. I'm curious what they're going to do with this. We're leading into they had the taping for Impact on Saturday. So yeah. What are we gonna do on Impact, guys? So how's that? That gets funny, doesn't it?
It's another promotion I think that's coming through this area, right? TNA's
they
coming
are.
Like the 19th, 20th, and 21st or something.
Yeah, they're doing 2 tapings. I'm very sad I'll be out of town for that one, but yeah, they've been. Even they're saying this, like, I don't know how many sellouts they've had even in the venue in a town in Canada I never heard of, Brosted or something like that. They had like the commissioner of the city in there or something.
Goodness.
Like, and they had a badger that was a mascot, local mascot got involved. Like, TNA's wild, guys.
Yeah.
And it's really hot, and there's some really good stuff happening over there. So I keep forgetting that's Alicia Fox that was in that match. I keep forgetting what her new name is. So like you don't know who's going to show up from one promotion to the other at this point. Like it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to try to keep up with TNA and NXT kind of collectively, and you kind of feel like you need both at this point, right?
I guess they're in the same canon now. I remember the the tag team, the Highlanders. Weren't they one of them? They were quote unquote caught at TNA on camera.
Yep.
And they got excused from their job for being caught on camera at TNA. But in the modern world, in 2025, someone under contract to WWE is the TNA champion. So where are the Highlanders now?
Yeah, or Natty Neidhart can be on the Crockett Cup for the NWA Women's Championship or Bloodsport.
Yep.
You know how many people were on Bloodsport, right? We literally. Somebody's messaged me to be on our network who literally is in the WWID program apparently. So or at least has the wrestlers or something. So like that's how like wild this level is getting right now in this access. It is man, it's such a different wrestling world.
It is.
Know? So we always talk about what are the indies going to fit into this, and turns out there is a plan for that at some point, you know. So or at least people will.
There's a ladder at least now from the independents to.
There's and we've known people and people we work with at 880 are in that program.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's really wild to see that. So justice for the Highlanders, yes. Let's bring it back around.
Justice for the Highlanders.
You know, there should be. You know what? There should be something. Just like how there were programs to expunge people with possession issues. You know,
I wanted to mention that,
for
but
marijuana and everything like that, and that all became legalized from state to state. You know, there should be a program to expunge.
Yeah,
the offenders that went to TNA over all those years. You know, and
Alistair needs more work.
What's that?
Rory McAllister needs
That's
more
right.
work
That's
now.
right. Exactly. You know, they can come back. They pop up on NXT and say, "Listen, I got screwed."
Mm-hmm.
There's so many even like NFL athletes that in the early 2000s they got caught with like weed on them, and it like ruined their lives. And now people like are smoking inside the stadium, and they're allowed. And there's countless football players' careers were ruined because they're just like, I smoked weed and got caught.
Justice for RVD and Sabu, right? I mean, come on.
Can we get justice for Highlanders? Can we get the?
We'll start with the Highlanders and we'll work our way back. Yeah, exactly. So very, very wild. But what's up, Sean? Sean Patrick in the chat room. What's up, Embley in the chat room?
Embley and Sean Patrick.
Yes.
Those are two of my favorite people.
Jeez.
Laughing at a mean Fred Flintstone quote.
I love Sean Patrick, my favorite referee to give a kiss on the cheek.
Yes,
for sure. Sean Patrick.
One of my favorite huggers outside of Keith Hott.
Yeah. Good huggers down the line. Number 1, Sean Patrick. Number 2, the Bearcat, Keith Hott. Number 3, Embley.
Okay.
So those are my top 3.
I have not had.
Well, look,
So.
there's the future's bright.
There you go.
The
There you
future's
go.
bright.
One day we can all have dreams.
Yes.
So, hey, thank you everybody keeping this stream alive here at the Wrestling Mayhem Show by following us on patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Thank you everybody that does support the show, including our friends at the fan of the show level. Bo Diggity! Woo!
I was a little early there.
Take 2, Riz.
Wait.
Could Riz do that by himself now?
Okay. Woo!
There you go. There you go. That's
got
you figured it out.
Camera one,
Team
camera two,
Hammerfist, the
good.
Tupac family, Bubba Brewer of the Triple B podcast, and APWF. APWF coming back in June, by the way, with Rhino out there in Indiana, PA, and Jason French at the Poppy Club level. Oh, I had the Poppy drink here. I wanted to pull up for that, but I already finished it. Dave Popeye Bonner, Wrestling Trenchcoat, Tony Kincaid at the Pizza Club level. The Riz.
I didn't do it last time.
Very eagerly,
time.
Very eagerly.
I have to bring him out.
There you go.
Bust the eagle out.
Thank you.
Is that your twin? You two look so much alike.
That's our homage to intern John, who returned to his home planet of Cleveland. So, you know.
shoot.
Yeah, there's no internet in Cleveland, apparently. And our manager, Bradley.
And also
there you
this.
go. There you go.
Rip. Oh my goodness. I think I may have been there. I think I may. That's VCW. I was backstage for that. I believe.
Were you for that one?
I was. Yeah. That was like there was a couple runs in VCW where I was just wandering around backstage, and I think that was one of them. And I saw that. I thought I saw that happen, And
Riz
then-
got that shot too.
And then like somebody came back and I was like, hey, did this happen? And they're like, bro, yeah, that happened. I was like, cool, dude. Bradley Ruthers, I guess, has a big Bradley Ruthers head he's going to be bringing out this summer.
Oh,
big
oh
head.
no! There's been a Bradley head before, so this is the return of the Bradley head, I believe. So, so to talk about AEW, let's start. We have 2 comments here, both about the same match. First of all, what is the best background song for a match? We had a lot of samples this time. We had Anarchy in Arena. They played music. Apparently, they're just doing New Jack homages at this point. I remember. I think I was there the first year they did this. It was one of the Vegas. It was Vegas Double or Nothing like 2 years ago, and they had a band play one of the guys out, and they kept playing their song. They just kept playing their song until somebody came up and super kicked the lead singer, and then they played something else. And then I think last year, Brian Danielson. What?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I got it. Daniel Bryanson had them play Final Countdown, to which the Bucks said, "Stop playing it. It costs us like $100,000 every time we play this." This year, they started with the Founding Fathers music, went into something else, and then played Bodies 4 times in a row, which was pretty great too. Until they destroyed a speaker that apparently was the only thing keeping Bodies running.
Of course it was.
Tremendous.
I'm so excited, wasn't it?
I think it was. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Shout out Drowning Pool. I probably like a month ago, like their agent, if they still have an agent, or maybe they just got like an email like, "Hello, my name is Tony Khan. My father owns the Jaguars. Could I use your Body song for our up and coming Anarchy in the Arena match?" And Drowning Pool was like, "Sure, brother."
Yeah, it's been a while since WrestleMania 17. Sure,
Yeah.
right? You know, that was the other thing too. I'm just like, this is so like WrestleMania, like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, I in my mind, I thought they were gonna go to break stuff, and then they went to Bodies, which was just as good. So, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it was a beautiful, insane thing. But you kind of need that because it's
A lot of shit's happening.
It's a lot of shit happening, and it's wild to watch in person. Right, so for that crowd, and to that point where we know that wrestling crowds love to sing, they were singing. They were into it. It turned into a rock concert. It turned into a wrestling mosh pit, which was pretty great. Victoria Crawford is Alicia Fox. Thank you.
I would say mine would be, I mean, there's a lot of hip hop songs that I think would work well. I listen to a lot of hip hop, but MS Paint Delete It is the one I would have as like the match was happening.
Okay.
It's just a lot of energy. At wrestling shows, I have a lot of energy, and sometimes I say out loud, and sometimes TRK hears me, sometimes he doesn't, but I'm just like, I want to punch my own teeth out. I want to have like the most, I just want to slam my face against a wall. I'm like, that's what I want. That's like that's the emotions that go through my head. Like, I want to have that much energy. I just want to be like, I just want to just fall apart in front of everyone, just melt. And that's the energy I want back too from the crowd. That's the exact energy I want back. I want like ripping on, like just like you know in the Bible you used to tear at your clothes. That saying to tear at one's clothes. I want people tearing at their clothes. I want people ripping their hair out and just screaming. That's what I want at a wrestling show. Alternative.
That's a heck of a vision. I think they almost got this on Sunday night.
880 no ceilings this Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There's your opportunity. There you go. Penn Brewery, let's go. Anyways, so Double Nothing, it was a big show. It was a lot of good stuff on it. Anarchy Arena. The other comment to this is staple guns for everyone. To which Dave Potter sent me an image. I'll load it up here in a second. Oh yeah, there you go. Staple guns are for everything. Yeah, for everyone. That's
maybe
that's their poodle dog. And I don't know if you want to staple the poodle dog. He's very concerned.
Yeah, can we?
He's like,
please,
what are you doing? No, we can't condone that.
Yeah,
we really can't condone
preface this by saying that Dave Podner, that this was not loaded.
But no dogs were harmed in the shooting of this picture. So yeah, exactly. No,
even though the dog looks very happy.
Yeah, this is just, I think it's happy with attention. Although he says staple guns for everything. At what point are we desensitizing it is a joke? There was a There was a pretty good Swerve Strickland where he was just staple gunning everybody. But I don't know. I think that's an easy one, So I'm not saying you should take a staple, but it's not great, but it's not the worst thing either. So, and I don't know. I don't think a lot of people were taking those staples that he was doing. They were just kind of quick, kind of things. So, but
it's the sound. It's the sound that counts.
it is the sound that counts. It is just the intention that counts on that, right? So unless you're actually seeing somebody like, God, what was it? It was a TNA show a month ago. Sami Callihan and Mance Warner, and they did staple his tongue to the door.
Yep.
I think, and that was like it was physically there. You get tongue piercings.
Hey.
It's not. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. They know what they're doing. They're professionals.
Sure.
Don't try this at home, guys.
Sure.
But other than that, then they followed that up with at least I think it was. I looked at the times. It was a 35-minute Will Ospreay, Adam Page match, and it was for the finals of the Owen Hart tournament.
Pink tassels too.
Pink tassels, yes. Great style by Hangman as usual. I thought Ospreay was getting this.
Mm-hmm.
They gave the Hangman. He's got the story. He's on his redemption arc right now, and he's going to All In Texas. That's tremendous.
And I think that might have possibly been why they gave it to Hangman, because I think maybe everybody was like, it's definitely Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, let's just give it to this crazy cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been there since the beginning. I think the Owen Hart tournament now is bigger than it was when it started, and people are like, they associate it now with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So I think giving it to an AEW original or whatever you want to say, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, and that seems to make sense. If there's somebody that needs to tear down this NWO style Death Rider situation, right? We haven't seen the championship belt since November.
Yeah,
maybe so. November, October,
Thanksgiving time.
Maybe. So which is really interesting. It's I think part of me we're kind of talking about a lot of people are like, oh, like Moxley, but he's kind of doing the same thing and it's getting old.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the point, is you need to do it until it's like, oh my God, can we get rid of this?
Yeah.
That's a point.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're trying to make you think. So you're finally please tell me Adam Page is going to take care of this,
Well,
and
it's
then
quite possible that he may. Obviously he was the star of the night, but looking at the Anarchy in the arena match too, who do you think came out of that match looking the best? If there was, because everybody looked very good. Swerve, I think, had a staple in his tongue.
Mm-hmm,
I think he had a tongue staple. So I would say Swerve came out of that. I think Swerve and Hangman came out of that pay-per-view looking better than they did going in.
No, absolutely. It really Swerve was pushed as the badass, kind of
Predator.
as usual. Yeah, the Predator. Oh my God, the Predator introduction was intro was tremendous for Swerve. He's a badass cosplayer, Willow. Yeah, the girls did really.
Willow was
And they were mixing up with the guys. They didn't separate them through the entire thing, so which was kind of nice. So they really played with that. So yeah, no, I think the Willows were for sure were kind of the best out of that situation. Because what it ended up with, Kenny and Swerve and the Bucks, right? So no, it was fun. That's the thing. It was fun and it was different. And then I couldn't believe there was a 6-man tag after it.
Oh boy.
I felt so sorry for everybody involved in that thing.
All respect. We talk about a lot in indie wrestling how shows go on forever sometimes, but then you see an AEW pay-per-view, every match is 15 minutes and there's 9 of them.
Yeah.
And it's just sheesh.
Yeah, you're in for a long haul,
Yeah.
right? It's brew the coffee, we got to go. But it was okay, wow, shit, I guess we're following that up with the main event. And then here comes Paragon, which is Adam Cole and company now.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird name change. I thought they were talking about a lucha wrestler a couple weeks ago. And Paragon's coming up. I'm like, oh, hey, you're really excited for the lucha guys. Oh, no, it's Kyle and Roddy? What?
Mm-hmm.
When did this happen?
Yep.
I don't know if it's better or worse than the conglomerate,
Yeah.
the
There's a lot of that.
conglomeration is amazing.
The what?
Sorg. The conglomeration is amazing.
I did appreciate Briscoe's word of the day, at least as part of that. So
We
there's
got the
that.
ops as well now. We have a lot of
I don't mind
different-
the ops. I like the ops.
Yeah.
As a thing. So, like it's and we got tension with Hook apparently that came out for a moment. October 2024 Wrestle Dream is when he got the championship. They're saying that maybe Swerve showed the camera after the match that he still had the staple in his tongue. Says True Prince out there. And
Hey, True Prince of Pro. What's up, buddy?
either killing in the name of or Bulls on Parade for Tina's song. I want that. I want that.
Damn, that's actually a good one.
You know what we
Wow.
need? You know what we need? I'm not saying we're doing it this week, but I think an anarchy in the brewery is something that needs to happen for
Killing in the name. That is a good choice.
Oh boy, there's something about losing a championship at a Waffle House, but I can't find it anymore. Anyways, but no, really good stuff. Big Wills as a tag team booking now. Oh yeah, it was lost at a Waffle House by Mox. There you go from Podner. So a lot of good stuff happening there. I'm trying to remember. Speedball and Okada. Another match of the
Yes.
night that unfortunately is overshadowed by a lot more tremendous wrestling.
There's a
on
lot
that
of matches
show.
that could have main evented. Like there's a lot
Any
of
other
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how good they have it right now. And I really appreciate that pay-per-view. I'm glad I took the time out to watch it, pick it up, and and all that stuff. So definitely worthwhile. Whether you're checking it out now or on delay on Max down the line, it's going to be worth your time. I think. AEW is, of course, going into an interesting, like they're doing these residencies between Philadelphia. I think they might be doing one. No, I think they're just doing like a week or something in Texas at Arlington. But also thanks to scheduling, we're going to get 2 Wednesday nights of 4 hours of AEW.
Can we take it? We shall see.
We'll find out. That tournament looks pretty baller though.
Yeah.
Right? The international AEW tournament. I'm going to see if I can get the bracket here real quick before we move on. Hopefully.
It's interesting that you said the word residency because I do believe TV wrestling is now operating under the umbrella of residencies. Because if you talk about WWE, every PLE they do now, it seems like they're attempting to make it WrestleMania weekend because it's like that Raw will be there, that SmackDown will be there, the PLE will be there, and it's all in the same building.
And it's different formats too. They just announced one for in Atlanta where they're doing a bunch of shows, including the Evolution pay-per-view. And I believe NXT Great American Bash is now going up against All In. So like, they just did this in Tampa where it was presumably SmackDown main event, NXT Battleground. So they can like drop these anywhere. They're doing the afternoon show for Money in the Bank. I don't know if they're doing a lot of other, I don't know if they're doing like SmackDown Raw around LA as well, but they are doing like the Worlds Collide one. So residents in Texas, Chicago, and Philly is what they're having. Also, it saves them money. Honestly, it saves them money. They're in towns, Texas, Philly, Chicago are places where they have hot crowds all the time. So why
and
to go?
People are going to spend the money because they're just like, look,
absolutely,
we could just like do these three, and then we won't have to go to wrestling for another year.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There
you just
go.
burn through them.
Yeah, and you get all that content because right now, like, selling tickets is great and selling out big arenas, but you have to honor your TV contract, right? And make sure you're having hot shows, make sure you have hot crowds. Because if you're like, well, we're going to go to this network, this Raw or SmackDown a couple weeks ago went to like Des Moines, Iowa, and it just didn't play the same. And it was just after coming off of something hot, like an international or something like that. And it was just like, oh, you kind of notice it, that, especially now, right? Because everything is hot. Everybody's singing Rainy Orange song. They weren't that night.
No.
And that's weird now.
Yeah, it's like when you see a cold WWE crowd, you know it more now. Because there's like a couple eras where it was just like, oh, this is a hot crowd. That's interesting. And now it's like if there's a cold crowd, it's like, oh, this is a cold crowd. We're used to everything being hot.
Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Moné was also a tremendous match.
Yep.
Looking for, I guess we're going to Mercedes and Tony Storm now, and All In. That's going to be tremendous. I wonder if we're going to do a title-to-title kind of thing. Maybe we're going to merge some stuff. Who knows what's going to happen there? I kind of thought the TBS TNT titles will not be long for this world when they introduce them. You know, maybe they'll move them to other things. Maybe we'll get a way. You know, it'd be interesting if they converted it. And instead of that, we got like a women's international title, a women's continental title, something like that.
I don't think that's out of the question.
I think that'd be tremendous. Like, I mean, kind of like how like we're getting women's intercontinental and United States championships in WWE. I love that parody idea happening with something like this. So, calling this out too from Tina, similar kind of thing is happening too next month. AEW 21st for Collision and June 25th for a Dynamite Collision combo too. So she says we have up there in Seattle. Yeah. So kind of a mini residency of some sort. So real quick, I want to look at this because I think this is starting this week, June 4th. Actually, next week they're going to start this. They have a 4-hour special, and this is what they're going to do a 4-hour special next week. Okay, this actually starts this week. So Saturday they're going to have Claudio and Commander. This is for the International Championship Tournament, of course, to meet Kenny Omega in the end of the bracket. Not even at the end of the bracket, actually. So it's going to be Claudio and Commander. Winner meets Kenny. Is this going to be a 4-way in the end? I think it's going to be a 4-way. Mascara Dorado and Hechishiro. Missy says it a lot better than me. And Josh Alexander and Brody King are represented on this. This one's going to be Wednesday. And then the finals are going to be at Fyter Fest on June 4th at the 4-hour special. So that's going to be really interesting. So excited for that. I think there's going to be some pretty hot matches there. I love AEW tournaments. I think that they do pretty good with them. So that's really, really cool. Well, let's get into, first of all, shout out to where you can see and hear Toddy's voice a whole lot is over at IndyWrestling.us. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of wrestling action. We got new promotions actually onboarding here very soon. And then, of course, you can go check out our friends at Neo Pro Wrestling, our friends at Big League Wrestling up in Erie, Pennsylvania, our friends at, of course, a lot of 880 Wrestling, nearly the entire catalog, I think it is, over 2 years of 880 Wrestling, and probably have more individual shows than most promotions I've worked with. And I've worked with some pretty long-running ones. So, 880 may have more shows. I'll have to do the math at some point, but they have to have more shows than the 15 years of RWA.
I would have to assume so, just because we run every Thursday.
At least 50 plus shows, if not 60 a year.
Yeah,
right.
And I'd have to go back to look at exactly when we started, but every week we have a show at 8 p.m. for free, and there's only been
holidays.
Holidays, and maybe a handful of weeks that like our crew was under the weather, so we thought it'd be better to take that week off. But essentially, it is it's like a lot of us, it's like our second night job. It's like a night every Thursday we work. Every Thursday we work.
At least some of us are there.
Yeah.
But mostly you and me, at the very least. We've been there since the beginning. So, it's wild. And I was talking to, somebody about this recently, about how, like, you kind of laid the tone of it.
Sure.
Right. Of course, like I loved it because that vibe that I knew you from Thrifty Podcast and everything came into the promotion. This promotion is very punk rock, kind of vibe to it and everything like that. And it sounds different, it looks different. It sounds different than most everything that I've experienced and filmed.
Well, I want to give credit to you, Mr. Michael Sorg, because when we were in the podcast game, you told me that would eventually be the case. You were just like, you when you do this wrestling thing, we're going to be working together someday on something, because we work together.
Did I say that?
You told me that. Yeah. Like when we did podcasting together and we discussed, obviously wrestling, we were always into that. And you're just like, I just know it one of these days, Pittsburgh promotion, we're going to be doing something there. And then again, that was probably 5, 6, or 7 years ago. And then here we are every Thursday, 8 p.m., 880 Wrestling. We're in the south side of Pittsburgh. And yes, I am the one of the main broadcasters on that product for sure. And it is super fun. It's super loose, and yeah, it just feels like a good panic attack.
Oh, that's production in general,
Yeah.
actually. That's every Tuesday and Thursday for me. That's it. This is why I take THC every night.
Yeah.
And it just replenished this morning.
But we have fun, right? I mean, it is. Yeah, on IndyWrestling.us, you can see most all of 880 Wrestling, and you can see how far a lot of our boys, and I say that gender neutral, you can see a lot of our boys grow up. You know, you can see a lot of our boys grow up into what they are now, and now you have other folks that are after the first class, kind of they're growing up as well too.
Mm-hmm.
And what is interesting about 880 Wrestling, that in my own opinion, why I really enjoy being a part of it, because you can start at any age and you're given an equal opportunity to do that. We've had, I'm in the back half of my 30s, and there's people who are older than me who started and then eventually became, something that they are now, you know? So it's it's intimidating for sometimes older folks to do something new, but I think it's a comfortable place. I think the whole T2T banner is a comfortable place to, T2T Brooklyn, 880 Wrestling. I think they're both places that offer a lot for individuals who want to kind of create their own path. But sure, you got to be a self-starter. You do have to be a self-starter.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, it's the most fun panic attack I've had. I would say.
Put that on the poster, guys. 880 Wrestling, the most fun panic attack you'll ever have. So obviously, we talked a lot about what the wrestlers that have done this since. In kind of like, hey, you got weekly reps at this point. Some people help put together the show at one point or another. Aspects of the show, it's really kind of down dirty. Everybody lends a hand at some point. What's the biggest thing you've learned over the 2+ years of doing a weekly episodic live show like this?
I think the biggest thing I learned, if you kind of like, no pun intended, if you kind of zoom out the camera a little bit, and it is a lot of work, not only because it's a weekly wrestling show, but it's also a weekly broadcast. So weekly, your team, our shared team, sort of comes in there and builds our way up every week. It's like a DIY thing. So the biggest thing is, by far the biggest thing, just even outside of wrestling, just the biggest thing is working on the fly. Working on the fly has been the biggest thing that that I've picked up and learned, and I'm still learning. Everyone's still learning, but learn how to do that. Back when I did podcasting, I did a live podcast maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year.
I remember one in your living room.
Yes. I used to have DIY podcast shows in my living room. Yeah, but we would do like 2 or 3 or 4 of those a year. Now with live wrestling, it's live every week because I used to get like super nervous. It was very easy for me to record me and my friends recording our show, but I would get super nervous for the podcast live shows because I'm just like, I now have to talk in front of people. And I remember being nervous for the 2, 3, 4 times a year, but now with 880 Wrestling, I'm like, I'm talking in front of people like every week. And so working on the fly is something that I've had to pick up and be accustomed to. And I hope, that serves me on other resumes too, to be honest, because like when people are like, you could just start talking about this and that and this and that, I'm like, yeah. And I try to be, in my own mind, and I'm not saying I hit the nail on the head all the time, and I'm not trying to say that, but what I want to be is the kinetic wallpaper of 880 Wrestling. Like I want to be, that's in my own brain what I want to do. Is I'm not saying I'm there yet, or I'm not, we're all learning new things, but as a commentator, that's what I want to be. I want to keep the energy going, keep the show going, keep everything flowing and everything on task. And it's not just our shows either, but sometimes shows run long and you have to keep the energy up. And so like I try to keep the energy up from the time I start talking till the last line I deliver each show. And that's why sometimes, as I said, it feels like a very good panic attack because like I put myself in a certain mode that the switch is on. So just like no matter what I'm doing through that period of time, the switch is on. Like I'm talking in a louder voice. It doesn't turn off. And then as soon as I say like get roached and it's over, I go like, okay, I'm normal.
Then you come down.
I'm normal again. I'm normal again. I talk in my inside voice.
Yes.
But like during the show, even if I have to do something like I have to take my headset off and like tell somebody, I always have to watch my tone because like I'm always screaming and I'm just like, oh, and then I put my headset on. I'm like, oh, I'm already like locked in. So I'm just like screaming all the time. And
Yeah, I think I did the same thing because I'm always in a certain tone. One time there was a technical issue at another show, and I just started yelling Riz's name, and I remember the promoter messaging somebody says, "Oh, he's yelling for some guy named Riz, and he seems very upset." And
it's like, no, not really. You're just just like locked in. You're in the zone.
Yeah. It's like, this is the only volume I know at this moment, right? So, that kind of thing. So very, very cool. So
if you haven't noticed, Sorg likes to yell at me a lot.
Well, I mean,
well, look, everybody, Riz, honestly, I would look at as you're his favorite. He likes to talk to you more. I'm gonna gaslight you a little bit here. Yeah, he yells at you the most because he wants to get the most out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
I do see the potential in Riz. I do see a lot of potential in Riz. So
I don't know, but
he's been doing pretty good with it. So I mean, Riz has done a lot of things. Like
first ballot Hall of Famer. On this show.
For
first ballot Sorgatron Media Hall of Famer.
There you go. I mean, you've gone from being a terrible interviewer I mean on paper. I mean,
not
just
gonna do that again.
Ask RJ and Dalton Castle about that sometime. So there's his favorite potato. But to filming shows whenever you need to pitch in to doing have you done replays? I think you've done replays.
Yeah,
too.
done
replays, graphics.
The last time I did it. It's the last time I did a replay.
Yes.
Toddy, you can remember this. I was trying to go for a really cool move by Reese Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that one of the things that was in the replay was not the Reese Hayes one.
Okay.
But it was the Marco move.
Yeah. I was gonna let you tell it. Yeah, but the replay was Marco.
Yeah.
Was he even in the match? Was it from like a previous match for some reason?
From the previous match.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna turn that off.
Yeah, we've been experimenting, and sometimes it doesn't work out well.
The experiment doesn't work.
I mean, that's what Thursdays are for. It's where it's experimental. It's
nobody saw it. It's fine.
You know what? We always when we talk about I work with this SAE, and it's like a bunch of students. Yeah, there it is right there. But there's a bunch of students that build these things. They're college engineers, and so I'm reminded when we go to aero design, they're RC planes. They would say, and the air boss comes up and says, remember, these are experimental aircrafts. They're not finalized. They may work. They may fall out of the sky. So when we do Thursday nights, this is experimental live production professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So because we are testing a lot of things out, new people, we train people, and you're trying stuff out. You're getting your reps in, so you can. And I know you've been getting more gigs across several states at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm out there.
Yep. Well, up at Smashmaster in Scranton, I think.
Oh,
I've seen
yeah,
you, right?
that's what. Money in the Bank on June 7th is the same day as 880 Wrestling versus Smashmaster Wrestling. That's the thing. But yeah, I get down to West Virginia for Negative Outlook. I do Smashmaster. I do Queer Punk Outlaws, which is the T2T Brooklyn promotion. Wrestlers Lab when it's around. I'm definitely for IW Guide stuff. IW Guide is a podcast that has a championship belt, so that's in junction with Neo Pro Wrestling. I'm sure I'm forgetting more that I've been doing, but I'm trying. I'm trying to get out there for sure.
Definitely, that's all you can do, and get the reps and get out there and get the tape right. So anyways, we do have a big show coming up here. I'm producing as well on this thing. So we're going to be at Penn Brewery for no ceilings, because there's no ceiling. We don't have a
None.
ceiling problem. We don't have a walls problem.
Nope.
It's no ceilings, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening at this show. Just a quick. Well, first of all, like Tadia, what's the thing you're most excited for at No Ceilings?
What am I most excited for at No Ceilings? I guess I would have to pick a couple of matches. I mean, you have to be super excited for the 880 championship, the big one. Every 880 show where the 880 championship is defended, that's a match I look forward to. So Gianni Michael Enrico used to be under the tutelage of the Gavel David Lawless, and the two of them, a +1, made the Dangerous Knights crew. Fast forward a little bit down down in the future, Gianni Michael Enrico is now a 2-time 880 champion, and David Lawless is returning to 880 wrestling. And he asked Gianni Michael Enrico for a title shot because David Lawless assumes that anything that Gianni knows, David Lawless taught him. So I think David Lawless really thinks that he has a one up on GME because, yes, he was under the wing of David Lawless. But GME versus David Lawless. And then also another one I think that's going to be a possible show stealer is the 880 Tag Team Champions. The Den of Desire is defending against the Monarch Clayton King and the Gentrifier, some guy named John, and they call themselves Leaders by Example. And I guess this will be a Wrestling Mayhem show exclusive, and I do believe we will be getting to this on Thursday. But that will be a whips in change match.
What?
So there's going to be whips, there's going to be chains, and the tag team titles are on the line. And Leaders by Example, what they're attempting to do right now in their own way, they're attempting to cleanse the dirtiness, the sluttiness of 880 wrestling. And so they're going after the King Sluts, Den of Desire.
The King Sluts. Okay.
The King Sluts of 880 wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So those two, I mean, Casey Ward, Brandon St. James, Hardcore Championship, MV Young, Reese Hayes. We got some T2T Brooklyn heads coming down. Liberty L makes her PLE debut for 880 wrestling. So there's a lot. There's a lot.
Colin Delaney against Nick's Wild.
Colin Delaney. How about that one?
Yes, got to see Colin this past weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing him here in Pittsburgh as well. So a lot of fun stuff's going to happen there. If you haven't seen, if you walk by the studio, one of the matches from the last time we were there, it pops up a lot. But from the first, God, what show was that? I can't remember what the first one was that we did there. It would have been.
Was it the outside one?
Yeah, the first the first one we did at the brewery.
Yeah, the World Series. That was the last 880 World Series.
Yeah. 880 World Series.
Yeah, in the fall we do like a best of 7 series that kind of mimics the MLB World Series. It mimics sports in the sense of, yes, it's a best of 7 series, and then the team who wins that one wins the World Series. And I see it when I come back at your studio. I always see Blizzy Blake doing the 420 frog splash on that. I see Angelo Carter, the Money Dragon on. Yeah, that's the one I see a lot. That's the one I see a lot. And these
look at that skyline in the background.
No ceilings on this one, baby.
That's right.
Den of Desire, the Purple Boys there, they will be defending their tag team championships against Leaders by Example. And, of course, the Runway is in that shot there. We love the Runway.
And I think that one, I think also the interesting thing is that was in October. The sun goes down a little later, so we're actually going to see a little more of the neighborhood. Yeah. Because you don't see it there because it's dark, but the original Heinz plant is actually in the foreground of that shot.
And you get to see the city of Pittsburgh as well.
So I love, and again, 880 on the south side, when you look out the garage, you see the UPMC building and the new First National building that they just built up there by the arena. And this is basically, we're on the other side of that, kind of directly across 2 of the rivers to see the other side of Pittsburgh and so much more of it. So really excited. I love the setup for this. I'm looking forward to see what the weather is going to do. But I understand the tickets, the front row, there's only a few left of those. Last I saw on social media and everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So go there, check that out. It's this Friday. It'll be on IndyWrestling.us. don't know in what capacity it'll be on. I haven't decided, honestly.
Yeah.
So, but it will be on IndyWrestling.us in some capacity, streaming. So go check that out. That'll be a part of that as well. So, oh yeah, it was so wow. This is where the power kept flickering because I don't know what was happening with the power on this one. We were definitely pulling a lot for it. So.
That's the matriarchy right there.
That's right.
The Princess of 880, Amanda Maslow. That's Paris Sahara, and then Zeke Mercer.
Could you imagine being the person that lives in that house over there?
I can't imagine owning a house.
That's that too.
To be
I can barely understand it, and I own one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's not well it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Anyways, Toddy Tendera here. We're gonna keep talking. We got a couple more things to talk about in the wrestle world, and we're gonna go to a quick break and be right back in a couple minutes.
For mercy, all alone, unable to handle the pressure of forced mortification. Now let the torture begin.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin,
And we're a gay.
and his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His Envy is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His Envy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We are back. It is the Wrestling and Mayhem show, and future 880 Hall of Famer Toddy Tendera is still with us.
Ooh, future Hall of Famer.
There you go.
Hey, everybody.
First ballot. And also, the Riz. What do you got
I'm
there?
here.
What are you doing? Oh, that's your bottle.
Look.
Okay.
Current
Well,
and
live
future
on.
Hall of Famer of the Wrestling
I'm
Mayhem
like,
show.
why is he about to, like, drink deodorant? Looks like a giant roll-on stick
Kinda need
that
it.
you're drinking
Kind of
from.
need it.
Oh, well,
Don't
I mean,
gonna
that's
lie.
what you work from home. It's okay.
That's his
That's true.
his secret sauce to get his head in the game.
Mm.
He warms up deodorant until it's a liquid and then he drinks it. That's what Riz eats and drinks for dinner.
That's a stop. That's a choice
Ooh.
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a vibe. You go,
Oh,
Riz.
I
Whatever gets you
I can
going.
taste that for some reason.
True
and it's
weirdo
not
hours.
tasting Good.
Are you tasting the idea? We got some
Yes.
feedback. We got some feedback here we need to go over. First of all, a lot of it from our chat with Toddy here. So we'll get some we'll put it on him so we can get any kind of a whips and change match. Insert Jack Harlow joke here from Tina. Let's see what else we got here. No, on that. True Prince says, I also love that Toddy has such an infectious and fun personality. It really makes it easy to watch a wrestling show when you can tell the commentator is having fun. Yes.
Cool. Thank you, True Prince of Pro.
Toddy's also grown so much as a commentator over years and does an incredible job of helping navigate and tell stories that the wrestlers are presenting in the audience.
That's not too bad, right?
Yeah, that's a
That
pretty
sounds
good thing.
pretty
That's
okay.
pretty good. I like that Toddy doesn't try to call it down the line, but calls what he sees, says Podner. I know you see him in the chat room from week to week as well. So there you go.
Thank you. That's so nice of you to think that. And yeah, that's what I try to do. I just try to That's the thing. Like I usually root for the people. Like I usually root for the home team, as I say. So who's ever the most home team, I usually stick behind.
There's some finger quotes going on there for you guys on audio. So
home team.
home team,
Home
home
team.
team. Yes, if you, yes, quote closer to the mic. There you go, so they can hear the finger snaps.
Home team.
Teams. Yes, exactly. Well, we also have some other feedback here from the internets, some that I can read on here. No, I was really kind of miffed at. It was really hard to figure out where WWE Speed is for me to go watch back, because I haven't watched any of it. I'd love to go watch it. It's not easy. Twitter's a terrible site, and there wasn't really like a good listing on WWE.com. Nothing is explained. There's no guidepost for there. But I did get a Blue Sky Skeet. I believe it's over there.
They're called skeets?
They're called
I
skeets.
still don't like that word, Sorg. Why is this?
The CEO said it. Okay, she said it.
So you skeet on Blue Sky.
You skeet on Blue Sky. So we're gonna skeet over here. We're gonna check out the
Usually
skeet.
that happens on OnlyFans.
J Rod Fantastic says on the main WWE account, if you click on articles, it will bring up a list of all speed matches and only the matches, not just usages of the hashtag formerly curated. Also, the most recent speed match is typically pinned posts unless there is an event actually actively occurring. So it's very kind of in place kind of thing. And I did link what that does look like so we can say, again, you have to know this, right? Like, I consider myself a pretty invested social media person. It's kind of what I do professionally, and I wasn't aware of finding this, right? So if you do, just for context here, if you want to see what this looks like, if you're with us on video, yeah, you go to WWE, go to articles, and you'll see like we got a promo for whatever the one coming up here. So yeah, and there's your matches. There's Kalani and Ivy Nile. There's some so yeah, there is this. It's also in reverse order, but if it's like, hey, I'd like to kind of see speed from the beginning, you know,
You could scroll really fast
really
back.
really
faster.
can
You're
I
speeding
find
and
the
speed,
first
Sorg.
I'm speed running speed, but also like if I watch one, you know, where do oh no
Where'd you go?
oh no I'm
What
in the
did you
comments
do?
oh no I just hit a time warp. Oh no, I think it only goes so far back too. February, no, this can't be right. It's got to be last year or something, right? It's got to be. No, I think I'm repeating. I'm lost in time zones.
Let's do the time warp
All right,
again.
2024. There you go. So yeah, you can go back and do it, but again, you go watch it. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna get a takedown. But like, what happens when you get to the end of it? Is it gonna give me another one like YouTube? No, I'm gonna get a takedown. No, you're just dead. Watch again. So I mean, just no, like I can't watch it on TV. I know it's supposed to be for the social media platform, but the social media platform's kind of not great. This is respect to NWA. I love that they let us use YouTube and stuff, but it's hard for me to watch Power for a lot of the same reasons. Hey, I like to go catch up on Powers like I do for Impact or something, right?
You got to scroll
It's
through.
not easy. It's just not easy, and I want to watch it on a TV, and it's so cumbersome, you know, and it feels like
and there's also like a million apps out there that anybody could have anything on too. So that's like that part of it too. So Twitter and Blue Sky, this is very true. At Toddy Tondera on Twitter and at Toddy Tondera on Blue Sky are accounts. Both of those are accounts. Those are real accounts. I do not own those accounts.
no way.
I do not own Toddy Tondera on Blue Sky or Twitter. The last time I checked, there were no skeets or tweets or whatever we want to call them by either of them. So if there's anybody out there who wants to submit those accounts to me, I might put like crayon drawings or something weird on them or something non-wrestling related.
Let's get you on there. Let's go. Oh god, I'm playing clips. Oh sorry, I was searching for you and I ended up with a clip from
yeah, so
something.
the Blue Sky seems like the
Thanksgiving.
one I want, and I think I was attempting to make a Blue Sky account by my name Toddy Tondera, and it was like it's taken. I'm like that's impossible because that is me. And then I looked, and it is taken, and it is possible, but it's not me.
It's absolutely possible. Yeah, no, I can see that.
But on the other hand, if somebody has at Toddy Tondera on Blue Sky or Twitter, just start tweeting. If you don't want to give me the account, which is a-okay, just start like tweeting or skeeting or whatever you want to do and just act like you're me.
Skeet.
Just act like
don't suggest that.
yeah.
Well, like maybe it would be a "What would Toddy do" account.
Yeah, that could be
Yeah,
possible
yeah.
too. I mean, you could skeet like I would skeet. How you assume I would skeet, you yourself at home could skeet just like that under my name.
You know what? It was good enough
Eat
for Little John.
responsibly.
Yeah, skeet, definitely skeet responsibly. So Tina sent this. I think Tina sent this one. Tina told me in the chat room this is you for the Karrion Kross gimmick. So we're running if Karrion Kross is in trouble. Actually, I don't think. I think this is a company line. I think Karrion Kross is going to be in good with this, considering how they're talking about Logan Paul, and even John Cena says that Logan Paul would be the worst thing for WWE wrestling. So, but Karrion Kross did an interview, and I got a quote here from that interview from the internets, from the Facebook, and he says something along this line. So I'm wondering your thoughts on this. So since Tina submitted this, he says, quote, "I don't have a problem with Logan Paul. What I have a problem with is this idea within the system to reward the mainstream archetype like Logan with certain types of liberties and privileges that could be delegated to the people that have pretty much dedicated their entire lives and are here full time. We, the collective, the talent, the wrestlers, the performers, we can go viral too. I don't want there to be this idea, this dependency that other people from other lanes are the only ones that can do that." I think he's. This is kind of the old. Remember when like the Diva Search girls and the Tough Enough people always got really kind of laid into because they came in, quote unquote, the easy way and didn't go through all the processes everybody else did and dig in the dirt and the promotions, the indies or territories or whatever it was kind of situation. I think there's an extension of that. It just seems bigger because Logan is one. You can't deny how good he is. And two, he does bring a lot with him, including a sponsor, honestly, right? And you are
Huge
seeing that.
sponsor.
And you're seeing that with Bad Bunnies and other stars like that. It's good for it to be enhancement, but does this replace your talent pool? The answer is it's business. And also, Karrion's talking about we can go viral too. Well, to a certain point, prove it. I would think. Coming from the idea of WWE as a devil's advocate here, which is really appropriate talking about Karrion Kross.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are almost like the Karrion Kross of this Karrion Kross conversation.
I'm going to Karrion Kross over Karrion Kross here, but it is a little bit of, and I think Karrion's doing that with his commentary, with the videos he does. I love the video that he put out when the Miz got there's a truck backing out outside and it's driving me nuts. It's probably a delivery for across the street at the grocery store. But anyways, the part where Scarlett comes in is like, hey, the Miz got kidnapped by the Wyatt Six again. It's like, oh, he's probably dead. It's like, we should probably go check on him. No, he's probably dead. Like this thing, like something they couldn't put on TV, and he puts that out there, and it's just like obviously just like him with a phone at a desk in the hotel or something, right? And it's just like that stuff is
that's
the
funny
thing.
Stuff to me too.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's his humor, it's his personality, and I think that's what keeps him employed, honestly, because he's showing that potential and getting that activity. I mean, I think it goes back to the Zack Ryder thing. The only reason Zack Ryder was around for as long as he is because he went off and did a show. Right. Yeah. And got this attention and created this character even more and developed it and got in front of people and got interest. It is.
And if you fast forward to like modern day, Zack Ryder is dead, but Matt Cardona is alive, and with Karrion Kross, it's not that I think Karrion Kross, yeah, obviously he has a point. But it's also sometimes that stuff, and it's a bummer to say it. It's a super bummer to say it. But, like, I think a lot of the times companies, maybe even like somebody like WWE, if you shine the flashlight too bright on something like that, it makes it more mainstream. And those people the people who are a bit edgy, let's say, you think they're very cool wrestling fans, like, if the light is shined too bright on something like that, then it gets to a popularity level that former audience is gone. Because like the cool thing about what Karrion Kross is doing is off the cuff. So if you put that on the cuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's no longer as cool as it was. So it's like a double-edged sword there.
It seems subversive and alternative when he does this thing on Twitter versus
Right.
on Raw itself. Right?
Because if he did that on Raw itself, then people would just pick somebody else and go like, well, they're underutilized now.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing this on Blue Sky. They're skeeting on Blue Sky this. But like if it's under the lights, that's when it takes away from that. So, and you could see that in different, years, different decades, different eras of WWE is like when you shine the light on someone, it makes it too popular, and that community who was rallying around maybe an underutilized superstar are now just like, okay, that person is utilized now. Now I'm backing this person.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's just a double-edged sword to that.
Yeah, we always want the underdog. We
Right.
always liked, I liked Samoa Joe before he was cool. Or AJ Styles isn't as cool as he used to be. Also, they get older and can't do that crazy stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ was talking about some move that he pulled off in, it was some wild corkscrew something or other. No, actually, it was John Morrison that was talking about this one. And I remember he said he did his Starship Pain to the outside, twisting through the table. And he says, I will never do that again. That was the worst thing that was the worst pain I ever felt. Like something like that. Like those guys have to learn the hard way, unfortunately, because they're trying to be innovative, but then they'll do something and realize like, oh God, that is going to kill me if I keep doing this.
And that's a good point too. A lot of the times people try to do something because they need that spotlight on them, because they're like, yes, a lot of people are in their points in their careers where it's like, well, it's like kind of make it or break it. So I'm going to try this like wild thing, and maybe that wild thing gets them a little bit of attention, but then they go like, oh goodness, ouch, that hurt. I did that once. I don't need to do it again, type of thing.
I've seen this. I've heard stories about even, some people on a local level here that were definitely chasing the, I think it's okay to chase the viral moment, but you have to have a plan for what happens when that happens.
Yeah.
And how do you capitalize? Because, I've seen people get the viral moments and multiple viral moments, get known for the viral moment, but then there's nothing else there, right? Like Jack Hardwell can go be a viral moment, but he can put together a good match, like he's solid, and can do more than just be cartwheel guy. It's a gimmick to get you there, but then what's next? A certain thing like a viral thing can get you booked on the indies, so you can think, hey, I want to see, this and this, kind of thing, but is there going to be more to that you would go up to? This is a discussion I've had with Beastman, because they were like, okay, what does Beastman do when he gets to a higher level? What stories
when he
can you tell
is
with
that beast?
Well, yeah, when he is that beast, and
when
then
he
and
is
then
that
goes,
beast of a man.
But now you're seeing like, okay, NWA actually does have a thing with them. MLW's tries himself with
GCW,
them.
yeah.
GCW, so there is like, okay, where does this fit into that higher level situation? But also he's developed that like more facets of that character, right? So he isn't just caveman guy that's out there doing caveman things.
No,
he's doing so much more than that. Whether it be he's diving into the death match a little bit. He's doing big man stuff. He's doing. I mean, he's a big man that can do stuff.
And dare I say, this may be the most seminal Beastman run that Beastman has ever ran right now.
Yeah,
would that be fair to say?
But right now he's definitely in a good spot. But there's been glimmers of that. I go back to, it was the day of the first Forbidden Door across the street at Malcolm X High School, and I will always say that my favorite Beastman match ever is him and Mike Bennett.
Mike. Yep.
It was the phenomenal. He just like, and also when he gets going, like Beastman can go. And go hard and go fast, and you just don't think about that looking at him. And he's so deceptive, And that was one of those days that really kind of struck that chord with that. It's like, oh, yeah, no, he can hang with a Mike Bennett, who is one of the top fucking guys in the game.
Yeah,
right. Like, and that's crazy. So
yeah, Mike Bennett at that time was, he was all over. He was all over at that time.
Absolutely. I think it's before he popped back up in AEW ROH too. So they were doing a lot of stuff. I know Maria, we were filming some of his their women's promotion that day and some of our pre-show and stuff like that. So like there's some wild stuff, there. So, and the nicest people. Nicest damn people in wrestling. Give them the nicest confidence I've ever had in professional wrestling. Cool. So both of them.
Always good to hear.
But let me turn that into another idea I wanted to touch on here real quick before we go to our break and what we learned. Just checking my time real quick. I had this idea too because I'm watching some of these three-way matches that they're going on. You know, they're doing the three-way qualifiers for Money in the Bank, and of course we are getting like it feels like we're getting more out of WWE in wrestling, right? Like I feel like it's been this way for a little bit. And then I started to think about it this week. Literally today, I'm sitting there trying to catch up. I'm putting on Raw on the side as I'm getting some work done. And it's the Chad Gable Penta Dragon Lee, I believe.
Triple threat, yeah.
And I believe that's the one where somebody said in the chat room that Chad Gable's neck did survive Monday night. So, you know, he had a bloody nose or something. I didn't even see the move because, again, I'm kind of watching on the side, which I hate because it's so good. And I want to actually sit down and watch Raw at this point. Even SmackDown, I may just go back and watch the matches or something. Although it feels like they're getting a little filler on SmackDown a little bit for that 3-hour, you know, deal. But Raw's tight because they got the Netflix thing and they don't have to do that. But you know, I was like, okay, these guys are going pretty hard. Nice lucha matches. There was a 6-man or 8-man tag about a month ago that I thought was the most bonkers thing I've ever seen in WWE. They were doing a lucha match like crazy.
It's almost like they were preparing for some worlds to collide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, imagine like they're announcing the people out there coming to this Worlds Collide situation with AAA, and it's just like, man, it's like, hey, let these guys go. And obviously, I don't think they've let these guys go. They let them do a couple cool things, you know, but I feel like there were handcuffs on the luchadors to be luchadors, like obviously Rey Mysterio is the damn king of this thing. Again, another guy who's, you know, if you look at Halloween Havoc against Eddie versus 10 years later versus 10 years later, obviously there's been an evolution and adapting to the guys getting older. You know, it's going to happen. He's had how many knee surgeries? I think it is. Back maybe at some point, you know,
all kinds of stuff.
Happens.
There was a time where he thought he was going to retire, and that was like almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. But I started thinking about, like, why are they going so hard for it? First of all, you don't see week to week a lot of guys anymore. Like, the storylines for a lot of the top guys, middle guys, are, okay, Rusev's going to destroy this guy this week. Okay, we're going to talk about how we're going to have a match with him next, like, the week after. Like Rusev's, like, been every other week, right? There's no house shows at this point. AEW, they go hard and they do this crazy stuff on Wednesday and Saturday nights. Yeah, they don't have house shows. Some of them do indies, maybe, right? So
sure.
So you can talk about reps, but you can also talk about they have time to heal. Yeah, they can go hard. It's that New Japan idea. Why does New Japan go so freaking hard? It's like, well, they only got so many shows. They do tours, they do 8-mans, and then they do a big match. That's what you see when you see like those crazy highlights, right? Is the one big match they did that month.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reasons why, like you said, why they go as hard. It's also that feeling. There's a different feeling between a house show and obviously a televised show because it's televised. But the thing is, it's like the lights are always on, sort of. So they just leave everything in the ring, and I think there's a healthy competitiveness to TV wrestling right now. Like, it's a healthy competitiveness, and I'm not just saying like, oh, this brand supremacy stuff. I'm just saying, like, no, I think that now that, you know, example being like Raw being on Netflix, it's just like, you're on Netflix now. You're not on this cable channel or that. Like, this is like, there's movies and television shows on this thing.
Yeah, you're competing with everything else on Netflix.
Yeah,
because they can literally. It's not just you're competing. Oh, you're competing with everything else on USA in the fact that, like, to remember to tune in at 8 o'clock on Mondays. It's like, no, I can literally, if I'm not digging on Raw, I can go watch the Tomb Raider cartoon.
Right.
I can go watch Detroiters. I can go watch I Think You Should Leave. You know, I know I'm picking up all David Lawless's favorite ones.
But to your credit, that's what I'm saying. And so, like, when there's like a Raw on Netflix thing now, people in wrestling or even wrestling fans, I mean, it's hard. Anybody who knows and loves wrestling, it's hard to imagine not knowing or loving wrestling. But believe it or not, there are so many people who've never seen this thing. So, like, when they see Raw is on Netflix, they're just like, what is going on here?
Or it's more passive. Because I think the other thing, why is it so big? It's
You've
like
you've connected
more passive
Yep.
people to wrestling now. You know, it's become this mainstream. It's become this thing. These people pop up on the NFL and the NHL and the NBA shows and mainstream shows and Jimmy Fallon. So now it's like a collective thing. Everybody knows who John Cena and The Rock is because of movies. Batista. So it's like it's like, oh, that's that thing. I love when I just like ran into somebody like in the neighborhood. It was like, oh, is wrestling still pretty big? And I was like, yeah, they sell out 70,000 seat stadiums like 6 times a year. I think they're pretty big.
Yeah, people are buying.
They're probably
this.
bigger than the thing you like.
Yeah.
There's a great feed. Is it John Oliver or John Oliver and John Stewart both do a version of this? But I think John Oliver says does a bit every once in a while that pro wrestling is better than whatever it is that you like. You know.
Yeah. It's bigger. It's bigger than you could imagine. I mean, it feels like now that, like, in a way, the United States has been conquered, and now the WWE is looking for other things to conquer because they're just like, oh, we've done this in the United States. Okay, cool. We could now go to different countries and set up shop here, which is insane. And that's another topic, but it's just like that's what's happening. It's wrestling. It used to be like wrestling on TV. Now it's like a television show that is wrestling. Yeah. If that makes any sense. Like there's so much things to compare it to now that it's on an app.
Yeah.
And it's like people are bringing it up, and that's when you see Chad Gable and Dragon Lee and Pentagon, and they're going 1,000,000 miles per hour. It's like because you have to have that energy or people aren't going to stick around. And that's also why I try to keep the energy when I do wrestling is like you have like 40 seconds to sell this person to your product. And if you don't do it in 40 seconds, they're going to go to the next reel. They're going to go to the next show on the app. And that's fine. We all do that. But that's why it's like you got to leave it out on the table immediately, because if you don't, it's over. You missed.
So I was just a really quick exercise. Oh, there we go. I was kind of curious what wrestling is on television. Right. And this is all kind of subjective because it depends on where you are, what cable you have, just television. And I actually shouldn't even count Raw at this point because it's not television.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking standard television.
Yep.
And, you know, this expands if you say Triller and YouTube and things like that. But I'm just looking at, like, what do you have access to if you have, like, just say a decent cable program? Like, I'm just thinking here in Pittsburgh. And I go, Raw obviously is a weird thing. NXT, SmackDown, Collision, Dynamite. OVW is on local television here on Sportsnet, and is in several markets. Wow, Women of Wrestling, which our friend Ray Lynn is on that. TNA Wrestling, Impact. Explosion is another program in certain markets too. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 programs, including Raw, which is subjective, that you can get across the spectrum there. You add it, and then you add streaming, and it's just like, oh my God, there's so many more options. There's NWA Power. There's that, like, and
you even compete with yourselves. Like you compete with the other show.
Yeah.
Of your own product.
They don't even kind of evolve. The
right.
LFG,
We're not even,
and the A&W
Speed
night.
or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
like WWE conquers 1, 2, 3, 4 on the regular 4 of 7 nights. There's only so many days.
Yep.
So, and I remember we always did the exercise of like, oh, WWE's producing 9 hours of content every week, plus maybe a pay-per-view, plus an insane weekend where they do main event and battleground, on top of everything in one place.
That's a light day.
That's a light day for that.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for whoever the loggers are there these days at WWE, because there's a lot of content for them to go through. But anyways,
even for microphone people, it's competitive.
Yes.
Because like there's some markets like outside of the US that if you watch Raw on Netflix, there kind of is no commercial break. Like there is no commercial break. You see that like sometimes if you watch like, I don't know, a third-party stream of AEW, it's just like, yes, they're locked in, and they're like calling the match, but then when you quote unquote go to commercial, they're still like now during commercial you gotta
hot tip for that. If you wait, so when you watch on Max for AEW, here's a little tip for you guys. If you're a long time, because I was like, why are the times doing this? I used to watch with ExpressVPN. I did AEW Plus on Triller where they did that, and you got that live. It was cool. So if you go back, because I had to catch up for like I was behind 3 weeks on AEW. I was catching up over the last couple of weeks, last week and a half to get to Double or Nothing. Mostly know what's going on. And if you go back to, I do also love that AEW goes in just like one series feed. NXT internationally on Netflix does this as well. Battleground is just an NXT episode. You know what I mean? So that's kind of nice when you're like, oh, I got to catch up on NXT, blah, 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 blah. Here's a pay-per-view. Next, right? So usually after a week, they put it in the archive. Because if you watch this, you're watching the live that includes all the commercials. But if you wait till it gets to the archive, you get that international feed with all the commentary and the picture-in-picture. Because you don't even get that on Max. You don't even get picture-in-picture on Max right now.
All gas, no brakes.
Exactly. So, like, and sometimes there's some really cool stuff. Now, they don't go off the wall like they used to. Like, you know, Taz kind of, like, digressing off into, like, a weird thing, and they make fun of the camera guy or something. You know, they've kind of lowered that a little bit, right? But still, like, because I'm just watching straight through, and it's like, why? I'm watching the one without commercials. Why is it only 10 minutes less than the show?
Pretty
and
funny.
You think about that, like AEW, when you're there in a live show, there's maybe 2 or 3 points where there's nothing happening.
Oh, yeah.
In that 2 hours, because they go, and I love the way they program those shows. There's no downtime. And now you get that now with NXT or with WWE, because Marcus don't have that, right? But then you go to NXT and SmackDown, they have that weird slow motion thing with the music that puts me asleep. This is why I can't watch them live. Either if you have a commercial, or if you're watching international, you get that slow-mo thing. I'm going to fall asleep watching it live. I can't watch SmackDown or NXT live at all. It is impossible for me in my mindset right now. Because if I'm here and I'm sleeping and I'm not engaged, or if I'm here and I'm sitting and I'm not engaged, my mind is at a point where like, oh, it's time for you to shut down.
Yeah, and like when we talk about live wrestling, that's how I am with live wrestling. If I'm not engaged, I'm asleep. And even if I go to like, and that's why like a lot of the times I go to like concerts or any time of live entertainment, if I'm not up close and personal, I'm asleep.
If I'm not in the Dolby getting rumbled at me, like, I was so tired, I fell asleep during the Minecraft movie.
Oh boy.
In Dolby.
Yeah.
That's a loud fucking movie.
That's a loud movie.
That's how much I'm not getting rest. This is more of an intervention on me, but that's another thing.
Dork stepped through the chicken jockey.
I was awake for the chicken jockey, but nothing else made sense, and I don't know if it's because of the movie or my sleep patterns.
It's probably both.
I need to watch it again. Honestly, I do need to watch it again. So, and I will watch it again. And see if it does make more sense. I don't think it's going to, but I loved what I did see. Anywho. On that point, one last note. Thank you to our friends at Slice on Broadway, the best cheese pizza in, was it the world? Yeah, the world.
The whole world.
The whole world. They got a big trophy platter thing over there at the OG right down the street, the Slice on Broadway. Supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Thanks those guys for supporting the show. Feed another guest, us and our guests, so we don't have to worry about that, and we don't have to get the cheap pizza, on the contest budget. So thank you guys so much. Over a decade supporting the show, and we get the Slice on Broadway, and they roll right in here to the back. He was so offended when I was like, I go out on toast, and I didn't know if they have the same delivery driver. And I'm like, leave it at the door. And he's like, is this for real? I was like, no, I didn't kick you out, bro. Come on in. So I just didn't know. I just didn't know. And then we talked about it in front of the whole staff the next time I was there. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're allowed to come in the studio. Come. And every time I invite him to stay and watch the pay-per-view. One day I'm going to get him at the end of the shift, and he's going to hang out with us. So just us and our Slice friends. This is the point of the show. One last note, another shout out to our friend Julia Lynn up there, Big League Pro, Moist. And thank you for that. That's going to Dutters here in a little bit. I think it's got a little bit of makeup on there too. So there you go. There's a lot. There you go. Got fresh Julia forehead on there. Is that weird? Is that weird to say? Okay, we'll cut that.
Well,
part.
you are.
We'll
Yeah, I mean, part. Maybe.
I don't know.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't clip that. Anyways, what did you learn from wrestling this week? Let's go around the horn. Riz, you first. You're completely prepared for this.
I'm prepared, actually. I learned that Chad Gable's face is made out of flubber. Because not only did he take that shot from I think it was was it called the Cop Killer and also a Pal Driver combo type situation that he took from Penta. But also he got kicked directly into the face by
Vikingo.
by Kingo. Like heard it.
Is this the
smack.
move? Is this the move he took?
That's the move he took.
Yep, that's the move.
Okay, maybe it wasn't maybe I wasn't thinking about the right move there at the end. The behind, yeah, that's his face after getting kicked in the head.
You should see the other guys, he says on the Twitter.
The other guy looked fine.
Yeah. They were over in Mass, so you didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Man, only if El Grande Americano was there. That's what I learned.
It's kind of surprised he wasn't. So, there you go. Hey, wrestling's dangerous, and these are professionals, but things happen, So, but glad that he's safe. And it toasted.
Don't try this at home.
He has a tweet that says "just another Monday," and didn't he get kind of semi-injured? Like
he
recently
bleeds a
too?
lot. He bleeds a lot because he works a lot.
I think he works hard. He goes hard.
Yeah.
He's in this intense mode right now, and
this entire match. I just want to. Can we go back to the Dragon Lee part, like the one where he's like being lawn darted into the.
You talk about hold on, this part here.
Yeah, this was after he lawn darted himself over the top rope into the announce table, head first.
Jeez.
Thought he died there. Thought he died here too. Jeez. But professional wrestling is awesome.
Professional wrestling is awesome, and respect. And God, we can't do it.
No, I would not be getting up.
My creaky knees are getting creakier. So, and I haven't taken all those bumps. Toddy, what'd you learn from wrestling recently?
I think Riz took a lot of my Riz because I actually came into this prepared as well, and it was going to be about Chad Gable, but it is a little bit different.
Okay.
I think, personally, Chad Gable in the past 5 years has been one of the best wrestlers in the world, and that triple threat match solidified it for me.
100%.
Chad Gable, low-key, is currently in, like, 3 WWE on-TV programs. Why I say low-key? Because his friend El Grande Americano is in a program. And then he's in and out of a program with Otis and Tozawa like every 3 weeks. And by the way, that stable is still called Alpha Academy and has Alpha Academy music. And then he's also in his main thing, American Made.
Yep.
Chad Gable has 3 programs, and every match he has is almost better than his last, and he's built like he's built like a brick house right now.
Yep.
So what I've learned is Chad Gable is truly one of the best in the world.
Absolutely. Future Hall of Famer Chad Gable.
Future Hall of Famer Chad Gable, yeah.
From the chat room, Tina Keys out in Seattle learned the Wyatt Six have impeccable timing for the return on Bray's birthday. R.I.P. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Didn't I see something about his kid dressed as Bray Wyatt on his birthday or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Man. Oh, jeez. Oh. Hold on, I need a second before I read the next one here. So after that one. True Prince says he learned that nothing is more badass in wrestling than a banana-based pro wrestler ripping his peel off in anger before a big match at 880 Wrestling. Banana shout from True Prince of Pro.
I'll let the boys know.
The evolution of Banana. Can we talk about that for a second?
We could talk about the evolution of Banana on the Wrestling Mayhem show.
So this is a man who's also a banana. He was peeled several weeks ago by Clayton King, right?
Clayton King and
came
John
back,
yeah.
And he peeled himself beforehand. So, and I believe there was an Eddie Guerrero spot with a bushel of bananas.
Well, I think so. I think what Banana was up to there is just like, you boys want to peel me? I could peel myself, thank you. And then he ripped that off and just beat the tar out of Clayton, which is always good to see Clayton get beat up. I mean, that's kind of one of my favorite things is seeing Clayton Jean get beat up. So.
From True Prince, also learned that thanks to NWA Exodus, that pro wrestling needs more mascots at ringside during matches. Did we have? Oh, we did have. Oh my God, we did have a mascot. Did you saw this, right?
Maybe.
There is a. I don't know where this guy came from, but NWA boys are back. Boys are not Boys in the Hood.
Did I see the clip of this? Maybe.
Was it with the basketball mascot at ringside?
Oh yeah, it reminded me of Liddy. Remember Liddy from TME?
Oh my God, Liddy was great. Here it is. Here's this. Okay, there you go. You see that in the background? He's getting the heat here, so let's move this on. Let's get back to the entrance here. There he goes. There he is.
Oh, that's Jermaine Marbury.
Yes.
I
saw this backstage and I'm like, what is about to happen? Benny the basketball. Oh my God.
Man.
This is so great.
Jermaine Marbury is a fella that refereed George Ross, who was part of NWA Exodus, and as well as a lot of things. 880. George and I are Jermaine Marbury fans. So yeah. Heck yeah.
He's going. Listen, I'm switching this thing, and I'm going through the show, and I'm just like, wait. Is he holding up a fence? And he got the entire. Yeah, he got the entire crowd. They were doing the defense chant like it was like it was a basketball game. He's got an on fire face that he held up at a certain point, and we started getting better. It was so great. I have no idea these things are about to happen. Well, hold on. There we go. There's the replay. There you go. There's that sweet replay action we had going on. But it was just so freaking fun. This is so great. This leads to what I learned, and I tweeted as much. We know there's always shenanigans ringside at 880 shows, right? Like there's always like Carson Drake was ringside eating gold eggs or something like that. And then, we had different camera people there this time because, it was a Friday. We couldn't book our regular crew. So, there was a lot of trying to fill in those spots and everything, right? So in turn, John actually was one of the ringside people. Also, we did invite Scotty Swemba of Enjoy Wrestling to be a camera person. And then Beal Fest was happening with Sam Beal. They're having a beer fest at ringside. And he brought Scotty into the party. So there's our friend Scotty Swemba.
That's my boy Scotty right there.
Sam Beal, not a bad camera person, by the way, holding the camera in this shot. And so this is the second segment, by the way. And my cameraman's already drinking and shotgunning beers with Man Bud Jesus and Sam Beal and the Grizzlies. So there you go. The shots were okay.
We love
for the rest
Scotty
of the
in
night.
this house, man.
Yes, absolutely. I've been still trying to talk. Listen, at Enjoy Wrestling on every social media and tell him to get Scotty on the Wrestling Mayhem show. I've been trying to sell him on this for months now, and he says he won't do it. But we don't even have to talk about Enjoy Wrestling. We don't even.
He doesn't want to do this.
He doesn't want to do this podcast. No.
He doesn't want to hear me talk.
He doesn't know what you sound like.
Not yet, at least.
You've been backstage and enjoyed.
Not yet.
2 times.
Yeah.
At the production
I've been
table.
here twice.
And he doesn't know what you sound like.
Not yet, though,
He
Riz.
said this like 5 times while we were in Michigan.
Like I said, I barely talk to people. When I'm
Period.
When I'm in the zone.
That's right. You do get in the zone on show day. That is true. I respect that. We do become kind of different people on show day, don't we?
I do.
You do. We just talked about that, right? So, I mean, there's definitely a little bit of a vibe that happens there. So it's that happy panic attack, if you will. So, oh my God, it's so much fun. Again, that show, Boys Are Back in Town, that's on the NWA Wrestling YouTube page. So you can see all that stuff, including a lot of friends of the show, including TME, a part of that. Pretty Boy Smooth, Pastor CeeLo. We haven't had Pastor CeeLo on this show. God,
that seems like a crime, right?
We need to get that to happen while we still can.
Yeah.
Because they go in places. Because that team's happening on NWA right now, right? This, what do they call themselves? Holy Grail, is it?
Yeah, Pastor CeeLo hasn't been in 880 for a long time, but there was like a little pocket there where he had like maybe like 4 matches and maybe like a 4-month period.
Yeah.
He was doing VCW at the time too.
Yeah.
And Pastor CeeLo, I see him sometimes randomly at Enjoy Ring Crew.
Yes.
He randomly does ring crew for Enjoy occasionally.
Yes.
I like Pastor
He's been
CeeLo.
very busy, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Great energy. Like, I love that he's found something with Pretty Boy Smooth and EC3 now.
Yep.
So no, the stuff they build. I encourage you. Oh God, you can't do it. I encourage you to go to the NWA YouTube and find the earliest Exodus show. I think we've done like the 4th or 5th show by now. And just to watch the evolution of the Pastor CeeLo Pretty Boy Smooth situation. There's more to it, and I realize it's not public, but there's a whole storyline in Exodus I wish everybody could see with giant check battle royals and all this kind of stuff, and Jake from State Farm having a drinking problem because of it, because it's his checks and his money that he now has to account for that Pastor CeeLo keeps taking.
That's a weird sentence you just said.
Welcome to Exodus Pro, baby. It is the weirdest thing that I've probably ever filmed. And that's with tough competition with 880 Enjoy Wrestling. So
you saw somebody get run over by a car.
No, they weren't run over by a car. They were T-boned by a car, and that was David Lawless that was actually hit by the car.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's in our demo reel that you see like every time there's a sidekick promo. That's Hardcore Halloween. If you want to see the attempted vehicular homicide. Well, that's a phrase that's going to get me kicked off YouTube.
Yep.
Don't clip this. So yeah, there's that too. So anyways, Toddy.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you back.
Hey, it's great to be back. And I said at the beginning of the show where it's been 5 or 6 or 7 years, but if you really think about it, the pandemic was like 5 years ago, and it was like 5 years before that. So I bet you it's been 8 or 9 or 10 years since I've been here.
No, I'm about to look it up now.
It's been that long since I've been here, but I appreciate being back and having fun and talking about wrestling. And
I typed your name, and it came up May of 2019.
May of 2019.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And the picture is Bray Wyatt with a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. That would make sense.
That seems about right. That seems on par.
Yeah, but I used to bring, like, I've worn a lot of different hats, I suppose. But, yeah, I brought some thrifted items I used to. Now I just wear thrifted items, and I sell thrifted items. At Brick Body Kids on Instagram. Check that out. I buy and sell vintage clothing. At Toddy Tondera on Instagram as well. I'm on that app a lot. At Toddy Tondera on Blue Sky and Twitter. It's not me.
No,
but you can follow it.
Tell them to give it
You
back.
can just say hi. You can just
You just tweet at tweet it at Toddy. Skeet or tweet at Toddy Tondera and just talk to that account.
Just tell them all to get roached and see what happens.
Yeah.
There you go. And thank you to Riz. Riz does things. There you go.
I do things.
I will be. Where am I going to be? Thursday Night Fights. We'll be up there doing the production for that. That'll be. That's going to be the precursor. It's going to be the go home show for No Ceilings 880 Wrestling at Penn Brewery this Friday night here in Pittsburgh, the other side of the city skyline. And then That's not a thing that's public. That's not a thing that's public. I'll be at the Harris Theater on Saturday morning and afternoon doing a live stream for.
Is that for Sean Collier?
No, that's for Chris Ivey. It's for this documentary that's happening. That's not really for this show, but so
it's just something else.
Yeah, but I'll be down there if you're interested in this as well. Shouts to Hyperboy Media and Films for bringing us in on that project. And then we'll do a taping on Sunday, and then I'll be in Michigan next week. By the way, Wrestling Mayhem Show will be live from the Hilton Garden Inn in Ann Arbor, Michigan, next week, because I'll be back up there to Auto Drive Challenge for work. And to which, by the way, Scotty Swemba should be in the room.
Oh, you better get his ass on the show.
I'm bringing a second headset, and we'll see what happens from there. Okay.
Just point a camera at him.
I will say that he will most likely make an appearance on the show, but I don't know that's going to be true for you audio listeners. We'll see what happens. He's probably just going to be yelling at the background. We're going to keep talking about him on the show. is what we're gonna do, and then see what happens from there.
Like just the top 10 Scotty Swamba moments.
Yeah. Oh my
This
God,
is
we
really-
can do a top 10 Scotty Swamba. But I'm going to have to
Yeah.
bring in all the video crew from several projects in order to do that.
Yep.
If I just invite all the people that worked with him in Joy and everything, it's like I'll be getting in the chat room and we'll do a top 10 Scotty Swamba moments.
we go.
My favorite part was when he said he doesn't know what Riz sounds like over and over again. So we were also drinking, but
Typical,
fits.
typical
That-
Scotty Swamba behavior.
Yeah.
guys, it has been a Wrestling Mayhem show, and until next time.
Get roached.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast.